The controversy surrounding the purported Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, PFIPC, has reignited debates about accountability and institutional oversight in Nigeria's public service. Now, the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, and other related offences, of course, has concluded its investigation into the matter, while the House of Representatives ad hoc committee is set to present its findings after weeks of public hearings and document verification.
The committee says it has uncovered evidence suggesting widespread document forgery, while the man at the center of the controversy, Prince Adeniyi Adeyemi, insists he's being denied a fair hearing and deserves the opportunity to defend himself before lawmakers. Beyond the fate of those involved, the controversy has raised broader questions about institutional accountability, document verification, and the safeguards needed to protect the integrity of public institutions.
Join us this morning at Breakfast Central to unpack the legal, governance and political implications of this development is Honourable Sergius Ogun, former member of the House of Representatives from 2015 to 2023. One welcome to you, Honourable Ogun, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
The ICPC has concluded its investigation. Mr. President gave them 30 days, while the House Committee is preparing to present its findings. As a former lawmaker and someone who's familiar with the workings of the National Assembly, what stands out to you about this case, and what should Nigerians expect from the outcome?
Well, Nigerians should expect a lot, but I'm not expecting a whole lot from the committee set up by the National Assembly and even the ICPC. Those that know in the National Assembly have a fair idea of what will be the outcome of the committee, because the minute the leadership of that committee emerged, excuse me, the minute the leadership of that committee emerged, I knew that nothing will come out of it. I don't want to elaborate too much on that.
No, but I mean, our viewers need to understand, because, I mean, for you to say that, you know, based on the composition of the committee, they need to understand the reasoning behind you saying that, you know, nothing will come out of it. Is it based on the individuals in the committee, or is there something else? The leadership
of the committee.
You don't have confidence in the individual that is leading that committee?
Yeah, the minute I saw the name, it became a fait accompli that nothing will come out of it. So it was just, they're just going through the motions. I can tell you that for free. Nothing.
Is it based on previous character evidence, I mean, of this individual, or certain, or conflict of interest? I mean, we're only doing our job as journalists. I'm sorry to go further. Yes. Yeah,
I would try not to disparage anybody, but based on the closeness between the individual, that's the chairman of the committee, and other characters, or supposedly some of the people that are supposed to be investigating, I didn't see how anything positive could have come out from there. And just to prove me right, not even wrong, was the fact that they said 29 of the documents or something that the gentleman, Prince Adeyemi, some of these correspondents were all fake. I can't remember, or I'm not sure the National Assembly has a department for forensic investigation. So how did he do that? By just viewing with your optical eyes the signatures, or what? You know, but like I said, I didn't expect much, and I wasn't disappointed with the outcome.
Okay, if we say this, so are we saying that, because this morning we just talked about having closure to this story, and it pretty much seems like we're waiting for the grand presentation and grand announcement. Are we saying that as we edge closer to the end of this? By the way, I just also want to ask, what do you make of the fact that the embattled Prince has not been given an opportunity to sit with the lawmakers to also tell his own side of the story? Because it seems like he would never get that chance, and they're about to close. How do we call that a balanced hearing?
He won't. I'm actually be thinking by now I'm sure he has been, well, not use the word cajoled, he has been made to submit to the fact that, look, let this whole thing go down and we'll take care of you. That's my own belief, I don't know. Because this is a gentleman that was spitting fire, and most of his claims, or allegedly what he claimed to be what he gave out to certain individuals, and part of what they were asking him from his takeoff grant and all. And because he reneged on some of them, and that was why this whole problem started. And yet, that same individual, you claim to have arrested him, nobody can talk to him. You are claiming court orders. And you also remember, they took that guy, arrested him, make him look miserable, the picture they sent out in the police station. Meanwhile, the video that came later, the guy flew private jet into Abuja with his friends. He was not looking intimidated or anything. So there is so much cover up. But this is even my biggest challenge. We are talking about one agency now. How many more of this type do we have operating? If the issues that arose because certain monies were not paid to certain individuals,
okay,
that is why this matter came up. What about the ones that we don't know? I think we should be more concerned about those ones.
All right.
You and I cannot gain access to the Federal Secretariat. You cannot employ 300 people. Your documents cannot be processed by the Federal Secretary to the federal government. I mean, how can they explain away all these things?
Is there any other, is there also a concern? Yeah, is there a concern that even the former Speaker of the House of Representatives and currently with the President was also equally not invited? His name was highly, publicized and used as well.
Who was going to invite him? The National Assembly. If he goes there, he will be taking a bow. That's why I told you from the minute that they constituted that committee and I saw who was chairing it, I knew nothing was going to come out of it. So who was the speaker, former speaker will go there, and who will interrogate him? Please, my brother, just forget about this.
Okay, so now you've said that the House doesn't have a forensic committee or a forensic team, from what you remember, and you wonder if they just use their mere eyes to be able to assess that this was forgery. So who do we now expect to hold to uphold what many would refer to as justice? Because one, they are almost done. They're almost concluding their investigation. The said person, Prince Adeyemi or Mr. Adeyemi, has not been given fair hearing. And you're saying here that you're not sure that there's been forensic analysis of this document.
But sorry to add to that, they also invited heads of some of these agencies who said the documents were fake.
Yes, Watson Jack. No, okay, well, beyond that now, to say if from your perspective you don't have much faith in the ICPC to be able to deliver justice, so then are we then, saying that the court is our last resort? And do you have faith in the court?
I don't have faith in any system in this country anymore, because this present government is basically manipulating everything. And that is obvious to everyone. But okay, now look at the head of service. She owned up that they made mistakes and all, but we should not limit it to just mistakes. If it's true that they make mistakes, should she not go? Should she not resign or be sacked? What about the secretary to the government? The SGF? Should he also? You see, for a government that's intolerant of corruption or to corruption, should not even accommodate this. This happened, and if the man on top is not involved, is not aware of this, heads should be rolling by now. Because they acknowledged they made mistakes. So if people forged all this and you did not know, they could have done more due diligence. I asked earlier, can any of us get an office in the Federal Secretariat and then employ 300 people? If we investigate further, some of these people we are talking about, whether head of service, SGS office, people would have nominated, amongst those 300 people employed, they would have nominated some of the people employed. Yes, they are Nigerians, but who paid them? So for the number of months or years they were there, they didn't get any salary? Who approved the employment? I know the process through which you get employed in the civil service or in government agencies. Who approved it? There's a whole lot they cannot answer. But bottom line, the point I am making is this government is too neck deep in corruption that they are not giving attention to due diligence. The laws are not respected anymore. Look at what's happening with procurement. We have an act, we have a law in this country. Procurement Act 2007, Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. They have done away with all these things.
Honourable Ogun, I mean, what we are witnessing is unprecedented in the history of Nigeria, and it's a very serious breach of protocol across different departments and agencies of government. And in order to prevent some of this from happening again in the future, I guess that's why, Mr. President, ordered the ICPC and the House of Representatives are doing their investigation. As a former member of the House of Representatives, Nigerians are also pointing the fingers back at the House of Reps, at the National Assembly, for not doing enough due diligence when that agency made its way to the budget. Who typically is responsible for scrutinizing line items in the budget? Is it the Committee on Appropriation and Budgeting, or is the entire Green Chambers, are they culpable? Do they bear some responsibility in this?
Well, I guess everybody, that came from the budget office. Well, yes, they are culpable. Yes, maybe the National Assembly should have also seen it, but the truth is, even before this government, National Assembly really used to give time to, they didn't used to scrutinize the budget the way it should. Because the executive will bring the budget late, and then within a month, they want it passed. It is a bill. The budget is a bill. So you are supposed to scrutinize it, make changes, and then thereafter pass it. And the executive are supposed to come in to answer questions. But most times they don't do it. Head of MDAs dump the budget, and then when you are calling them to tell you, how did you spend the money given to you in the previous budget? Now you're asking for new ones. Most times they are not available. Other times they say they are not in the country. I remember one time under Saraki, he told the President Buhari that, look, we cannot even do anything to this budget. So tell your ministers and permanent secretaries to attend our meetings. Otherwise, we will not pass your budget. That was the last time we had the National Assembly. Guess what, even? Right now, when I was leaving the House in 2023, the press call, National Assembly press call, and one of the questions was, the 9th Assembly is acclaimed to be rubber stamp. What's going to happen to the 10th Assembly? And I told them, I wasn't prophesying. I said the 10th Assembly would be rubber stamp pro max. Then correct me if I am wrong today. So even the ones that were a bit active, we were not doing the work because we were not given the time to do the work. Is even this rubber stamp 10th Assembly that would even investigate anything? But they are not allowed to do that. They are not allowed to do it.
Okay. So that means it's safe to say that the defense that the Senate gave with the National Assembly, that they will, it's not within their purview to determine the validity or the authenticity of the heads of these MDAs, because that was the reason why they said they were not going to step into the arena, that they can't, that yes, they would approve the budget, they would look through these line items, but they're not the one to determine the authenticity of the heads of these agencies. That means, is it safe to say that that excuse does not fly?
It doesn't at all. That's why I said it's a bill. It's a bill. When the executive brings a bill, what is the work of the National Assembly? What's the work of the Parliament? It's to x-ray it. It's not just to pass it. But because they have turned themselves to rubber stamp, whatever the president brings, they rubber stamp it and send it back to him. Tear the bill apart, because we are working for Nigerians and not for the president. Tear it apart, look at what is good in it, look at what is not good, take out what is not good, and then pass it. If the president doesn't like it and he brings it back, pleading to say, look, these things are very sensitive, that's why we added them. Then you will give the president or his team reasons why you think those things will not work for Nigerians. They have abdicated their responsibilities for their stomach. That I can tell you for free.
All right. I mean, we're out of time, but why is it that at this point in time, we're having too many documentation issues as a country, and yet we have very intelligent, sound even experienced lawmakers, but yet we're still struggling with documentation, especially when it comes to laws and bills. I'm also going to segue a bit and talk about take a look at the INEC, President's, what's been trending, the President's school certificate. I was seeing that go online. We did hear that, okay, members of Parliament said, listen, it's no longer a case if you don't have certificates, if it's forged and so on and so forth. You were part of that member of Parliament. You're a member of Parliament, rather. And in 2023, like in 2003, if I'm right, or 2023, while you were there, all of these things may have been properly scrutinized, looked into. Why is it that we're having documentation issues, bills issues from that one? We also have the police one. I don't know if you are aware that while they were about to go through it, they wanted to go through it line by line, and it was cancelled. It was called off, and they just said no need to go through it go through the police bill one line after the other. Is this not going to cause a major chaos, especially for Nigerians as a country, that the lawmakers no longer want to take time to look into issues like this and deal with it?
I will say this for the lawmakers. There are patriotic Nigerians in the National Assembly, but they are few these days. If something doesn't happen to APC, they will truncate this our democracy. I am not prophesying. What they did, when you just reference the police bill, it was supposed to be clause by clause, and its constitutional amendment should have been electronic voting, not voice. They threw away all that. I think the speaker was actually going to do clause by clause. They were members of the opposition raising objections, and they must be allowed to speak. They were not allowed to speak. Then, while he was embarking on the clause by clause consideration, the deputy speaker whispered something to him, and he just put the question. You don't do that. You don't do that. We have become the laughing stock of the world. You don't do that. And I don't think whether they think about tomorrow. All they're interested in is just pleasing the president. And my question is this a democracy? What would they want to be remembered for? It's unfortunate. And that is why this government must go in 2027. Absolutely, they must go. They are not representing Nigerians. They are not representing us. They are not representing me. I don't know about you guys. This is not democracy they are practicing. And something must be done urgently. This is a rape to our democracy. People died for this democracy. And these individuals will just come, daylight, and then rob everybody. This is not acceptable and must not be allowed to continue.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We will just have to wait and see what happens with this investigation, the conclusion of what it will be. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave the order for the ICPC to do the investigation. Let's see what he will do with the report and what the next steps will be. Thank you for your time with us.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sergius Ogun. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.